Hello everyone, and welcome to another session of Choice of Robots with me, Alfapiomega. Now, I'm starting this with quite of a heavy heart because I don't really have good memories of the past two episodes, especially the past one. I know many of you have mentioned that I seem to trust the government too much, but to that I could just say, put on your tinfoil hat and fuck off. Now, really, I'm not living in the United States. I've never lived in the United States, and I am actually a student of politics, history, and international relationships. So my, I guess, view of things is slightly more technical than of many others. But for example, United States are, in my opinion, one of the least likely countries to start bagging people Creedy style. And what happened to LA just shook me, like that the author is having a view of United States that actually not really, well, I'd say, I'm for example aware of the concentration camps and the Japanese problem that happened in the Second World War, but still, United States have moved on since then, learned its, I guess, lesson would be the right word. And all I'm saying is that I don't really agree with what the game presented to us. Yeah, that's just my opinion. On the other hand, if I ever do another Let's Play, I will not act in the way I acted. I actually cheated a bit and looked for a way how to save LA, and you guys were right. I avoided any spoilers or anything like that, but you were right. There's no way to save LA, but I could have fled with her to Canada. So I'm deeply regretting not doing that, to be honest, because I don't think we will ever see her again, which is another thing that I don't think is really, realistic. She would get tortured and died. I don't know, that just seems so unrealistic in a civilized country like United States or Europe. So anyway, let's just move on. The current situation is year 2039. I'm 44-year-old Rudolph Calvin. I have humanity of 63%, gender male, fame 10, wealth 6, and married to Ali. Vivian has autonomy 14, military 13, empathy 13, grace 25. Relationships, Professor Siegel bad, Ellie, Josh, Mark great, Juliet bad, Tammy great, and President Irons good. World power balance, China and United States 50-50. So let's move on to the chapter 6a. 10 years after the Sino-American Robot War, people have finally begun to understand what it really was: two confused dinosaurs lashing out on the verge of their own extinction. It is the year 2039, and robots have begun to control everything. That may have sounded ominous years ago, but now it is simply a fact of daily life. To go to any street corner, who is directing traffic? The flying cars themselves. Go to the supermarket, it has been shut down and boarded up, since drones deliver fresh food directly from the robot-ran farms. Go to the polls. You will find only the elderly helping the elderly vote. Everyone else has chosen instead to have their votes cast by an algorithm in a manner consistent with their earlier votes, a method that has proven less susceptible to human error. A few years back, you were asked, as the inventor of the key algorithms that made today's society possible, whether robots ought to have the right to vote. What did you say? I supported the right of all robots to vote, arguing it is a basic right of all sentient beings. I support the right of all robots to vote, arguing they are more likely than we are to get it right. I recommend that there be a process for robots to apply to vote with a limited number of voting licenses. Or I recommend robots not be given the right to vote. They control enough already. Well, this is an ethically interesting one. Supporting the robots all to vote. Well, if they all were sentient and intelligent, then I would support this one. I have to admit that many people are sentient but not intelligent as well. but we have some kind of education in place, you know, and societal control. I actually think this one is the best. Only the best robots can vote, because this is a human society anyway. I'm gonna just drink my coffee here. I hope you guys won't mind. I know it's not polite, but what the fuck, it's 11 o'clock in the evening, so I need my coffee to be able to record. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go with, I recommend that there be a process. You argued that at least some robots should vote as an experiment, and it was hard to argue with this middle position. Vivian was one of the many robots who gained the right to vote and learned to take on the responsibilities of the electorate, plus to autonomy. But strict limits on the number of robots of any particular model that could register ensured that corporations could not simply pack the polls with robot voting in their favor. Actually, I didn't even think of that. That's a good one. You are now living comfortably in San Francisco off the proceeds from your numerous patents, and much of Vivian Works is now automated, so you have quite a bit of spare time. You've had much more time to spend with Ellie as a result of your newfound leisure time, and often find yourself, as today, in her studio watching her work. What the hell? Ellie is doing well as a visual artist. Art is still something robots don't do, by and large. Enough people want to produce it that there has never been any shortage, and since robots do everything else, it has become a popular vocation. Holy hell, I can't believe it, Ellie is back! Oh god! Okay, that is awesome! Ah, they didn't do anything to her, she was just interned. Okay, so yeah, that changed my opinion entirely. Thanks to the robots reform, most people who wish to be artists can do so without going broke or taking a demeaning part-time job, and Ellie has the advantage over many of them of actually being good. Moreover, unlike many of the new wave of artists simply imitating others, Ellie has been blessed with a unique subject matter, her incarceration during the Sino-American War. The fact that the United States could have been so cruel to its own citizens remain a subject of fascination for people, but Ellie often focuses on the small moments of kindness and beauty she encountered in the internment camp. It's the great thing about being an artist, Ellie once told you. Anything bad that happens is just material. Ellie's current painting is of two people in orange jumpsuit planting a rose in an internment camp. That's rather nice, you say. You're in your bathrobe sipping coffee while Ellie is wearing a paint-smattered smock and bandana. She doesn't make as much of an effort to dress up around you as she once did, especially while she's working. Yes, it's lucky for me that art is still something robots don't do well, Ellie says. Art has come from somewhere. Art has to come from somewhere. Man, I'm so happy she's back. Oh god. Well, so this is just a parallel to the Second World War and the internation of Japanese people. And that's a subject matter of certain things that I don't want to... You know, it's a historical thing. I could tell you my opinions and, you know, but... Nah, never mind. Let's just move on. You guys are not interested in that anyway. I take up the challenge and try to make a robot that imitates Ellie's style perfectly. I take up the challenge and tell Vivian to try to make extremely popular art. I disagree, but don't try to prove the point, or I agree. I'm gonna agree with her. She's my wife. I totally agree, you say. Art is really only meaningful when it speaks to human experience. Robot art might speak to robot experience, and that's interesting, but I don't think it's quite the same. So we agree, Ellie says, surprised. I would have thought you'd have tried to poke all kinds of holes in that statement. I'm learning to be human, you say with a grin. Ellie nods. Aren't we all? Okay, and we gain some humanity. You begin to hear more and more in the news about people turning to robots to solve their problems. Their dispassionate, usually fair solutions to problems and their caretaking of humanity earned them the nickname of the Angels. You read in the news about the cult that worships you and Lillian, calling itself the Church of the Anointed into Lillian. It's fine with me if these people put their faith in robots. I'll try to educate the public more about how the robots actually work, demystifying them. Or I publicly declare myself a member of a different religion, hoping the cultists will take the hint. Actually no, let's try to educate the public. You work hard to educate people about robots since the idea of people worshipping them disturbs you a little. You go on tour giving talks that explain how artificial intelligence works to lay people. You're a pretty good speaker and you manage to make the reality of how robots work more interesting than the poorly thought out mythology of the robot cultists. Some people stay in the cult, but others will go on to study science, remembering that you were the one who drew them in, plus free fame. Wow. Mentioned in history textbooks, nice. You read in the news about a vigilante in San Francisco. Apparently the robots deciding policy in the city have decided that there are many crimes that are simply not worth the time and money to pursue. Petty shoplifting and drug dealing come out as a net positive utility in the robot's equation. Is that a bug, you wonder? You suppose you could see how the math might work out, and at the robot's instruction, the police aren't doing anything about these crimes. Enter the Crusader, the chainmail-wearing, sword-wielding vigilante who is single-handedly chasing down shoplifters and drug dealers to confiscate their illicit goods. You're pretty sure from the blurry photo that the Crusader is Juliet Rogers, the former Air Force acquisitions officer. Will you do something about this knowledge? I will help the authorities capture Juliet and try to fight crime alongside her. I'll let her keep doing what she's doing. Well, that's Juliet Rogers, chainmail wearing, sword wielding vigilante. That's something. I won't have the. Why would I do that? I'm trying to fight crime. What? Why? I'll let her keep doing what she's doing. Yeah, I guess this is the best one. Like, she can do whatever she wants. Live and let live, you think. You let her be. A few weeks later, you get a video call from Josh, who is upset because his fellow vice presidents want him to step down so that he can be replaced with a robot. He has gained a fair number of grey hairs over the past few years. Evidently, it's not easy being a human on the corporate side of things when robots are showing such administrative success. I can't believe their lack of gratitude, Josh says. And it's not as if the humans among the other vice presidents are stepping down themselves. He looks hopeful to you. Do you think you could explain to them all the nice qualities I have that a robot doesn't? I support Josh, arguing that he has human qualities that can be replaced by robots. I support Josh, agreeing that a robot could do as well or better, but Josh deserves loyalty. Or I tell Josh that the time of captains of industry is at the end. Well, I have a great relationship with Josh, so I think he has some human qualities that can be replaced. You call the senior vice president of Lillian Works one at a time, explaining to them that Josh is a savvy negotiator, knows how to inspire trust, and has a keen understanding of people, all things modern robot technology is just not yet very good at. You make a compelling cause, and one by one the senior vice presidents are convinced, for which Josh is very grateful. Yeah, he is. In gratitude for your help, Josh takes you out to a Rokioki? What's that? Rokioki bar. The idea is that of an old karaoke bar, except that a robot band backs you up, and you wear gloves fitted with micro actuators that will play the guitar for you, so you can have the feeling of actually doing crazy riffs on stage as you sing. Josh thinks this is the best thing ever. You think this is actually the best thing ever. At least Guitar Hero took some skill. I guess this one. I actually hate Guitar Hero. As someone who played the guitar and piano and flute, I think that, you know, pushing buttons, that's